said bee. That's a pun even now. We know, yeah, the bee is very important. The bees from Venus and the great buzz of cosmic wisdom humming in our body and being activated by the word and the teachings. So without further ado, welcome our beloved sister, Becca Bee.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. This is such an honor, and I'm really excited to feel out where this conversation goes today because it is powerful. And if you caught my talk yesterday, there's no accident to those of us that are here in this very I am present moment of now, that we are all connected with this entire conference that we are with right now. But I just want to just take a brief little moment for each of you just to see who's here in this room right now. That this is very, very special when we start to realize that every single moment of our life is a sacred initiation, a sacred awakening, and a sacred expression of who we be in this very life. Therefore, there are no accidents to the very place where your feet are on the earth right now as you connect with the dear beloved Gaia Sophia. I'm going to invite each and every one of us that as we get to talk today a little bit about that, yes, we are born with an owner's manual, that we have sacred, unique blueprints that work with the sacred geometry of the universe. And that as we learn our sacred geometry and our imprints in the stars, that we begin to merge our consciousness with our higher avatar God selves. That you sitting here is part of a higher collective of your soul family. And that your soul collective of your soul family is connected to your oversoul family. So there are very many of you having an expression through you right here and right now. And as you get to be the you came here to be, we like to just take a moment as we create sacred space together. And I like to ask the question, who is you looking through your eyes right now? And just to take a moment to be of mindfulness. And mindfulness, one of the beautiful practices, it's a very ancient practice on this planet. It is brought to us from our star brothers and sisters. And it's the entire cosmic ability of being able to imagine bringing your eyes behind you as if you are observing you living your life. And as you observe you, you begin to get into an awareness that your body is your vehicle. It is a tool, it is a gift, and it is a merging of you with the beautiful planetary body of which we are part of this starship. So just as we connect with beautiful divine Gaia Sophia, I ask each of you, you can close your eyes if you like, but to connect with your pineal gland, the stargate right within you, the doorway, the gateway that allows you to access so many of your memories, and to allow yourself to just even connect, if you were here for the last presentation, just to keep connecting with that beautiful heart space. As you take a deep breath, imagine that this Merkaba star in your pineal gland, on this deep breath, that it, on the exhale, just floats down your spinal column, out your tailbone, and drifts all the way through the layers of the earth and right to the heart of beautiful Gaia Sophia. Feel yourself merge fully with her, be one. As we become planetary citizens, we become unified within awareness that every breath we take is affecting each and every other being on this planet. Let her hold you. And I invite you from the meditation that we experienced just before this talk to take that expanded heart space that you have right now connected to Andromeda, and that the Andromedan galaxy is our mother galaxy. She is our divine feminine, our divine mother, of which our beautiful galaxy is merging and connecting with. So open your heart all the way to your cosmic mother. And as you feel that beautiful plasma, liquid, radiance of light, breathe deeply all the way up, and like a geyser of light, it comes up from the core of the earth, up underneath you, creating a spherical energy all around you, creating almost your own toroidal field of this luminescent vibration that is your field. No matter where you go, no matter what you do, you are within your own energetic connection to the divine cosmic mother. And on the next breath, I'm going to invite you to breathe up into your pineal gland, and on the exhale, shoot it out the top of your crown all the way to the Andromedan galaxy. All the way out, and just anchor it into that beautiful, loving heart. Absolute, beyond unconditional love. That you have always been loved. You have always been watched, protected. You have never been alone. No matter what incarnational experiences that you've had, what body forms you've taken, what planetary or star systems that you've lived in, this is your eternal connection, your living light source to your heart. And as you breathe that like a shower of light above you, it comes right above your crown of your head, and just let it like a waterfall of liquid light pour right into you and fill you up eternally. That from this space, you are here in the now. That you are a multidimensional being. You are existing within a physical form, currently in this avatar you call your body. But you are also simultaneously, through your multidimensional consciousness, connected to all of your star alignments and your soul field. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit today. So as you breathe this in, I invite you to stay within this space. This is your discernment. You are a soul sovereign being, which this means is that your energy belongs to you. No one has the right to your energy, to your body, to your mind, or to who you are. You have pure sovereign right to create your reality and your dream the way that you want to. Therefore, as we become in this mindful state of the now, we can start to feel what it feels like to be in this energy. And whenever you hear programming coming in, somebody else speaking to you, anything coming into your universe, you are your own universe, but anything you eat, you smell, anything you hear, anything you touch, is something from outside of you merging in, and now you get to have the discernment. What do you choose to allow into your field? And when you're ready, just with this beautiful space, you can bring your awareness a little bit to the front, and from here, everything that I speak today, I ask you to hear it through your own filters, through your own sovereign self. And whatever resonates for you, please do take it, mold it, merge it with your own higher knowing and consciousness, that in truth we are part of the cosmos. And I love this picture because it shows the sun on there, which is quite tiny. And to us, this is our solar logos. So this is our logos within our solar system here. So it's just a larger part of our body within this very small sector of the universe. And within this, that we can start to realize that the very first step that we're going to start to embrace is this awareness that our neighborhood is a lot bigger than just the city that we live in, the town that we live in, or even the planet that we live in. And when we start to embrace even our own solar system, so Mars, Venus, Jupiter, Uranus, all of our planetary systems that we are even aware of, we are going to start to spread our wings and become a better galactic citizen and spiritual adults. That we are sacred geometry, and part of the way that we are sacred geometry is that we are light, reflecting. And as the light reflects through, that we move through the angles. And I want to kind of tie in a little bit because we're going to be talking about the archangels, the Elohim, and that as luminescent light beings, when we maintain light body, this is one of the highest forms of our physicality. We come into plasma body form. And when we talk about archangels, it's the beings that have the ability to move through the arcs and the dimensions of light, to move the light through the arcs and to bend the light to move down into different dimensional frequencies. So this is what is very special about angelics and why they are messengers of the higher heavens, is because they have the ability to connect with the higher realms and bring it through dimensional levels of consciousness or physicality, if you will, in order to share these messages. Now, I have a prism on here, this crystal on here, and it is an incredible replica or example for us to think of how our light is emanating from the God source field. And as our light of consciousness is emanating, when it reflects and refracts off of here, all of these rainbow spectrums are holographically emanating out. And this is partially how our soul has multiple aspects of us, and our oversoul has even more multiple aspects of us. We are all part of the whole of the light that moves back to the infinite, the unified field of the source light of which we are. So when we talk about ascension, when we talk about elevating our knowing, what we're really doing is elevating our ability to hold the light. Light is knowledge. Light is what amplifies our ability to hold more consciousness. Therefore, when we clean out our cellular tissues, we are clearing out the shadow and the miasma within it in order to allow the space to hold 0-point field within our cellular tissues and to hold the light. This is so many different ways and perspectives we can look at this. So what I'm sharing with you today is a lot of information that has been shared for decades and actually millennia of years on this planet, because this is the teachings from our Hathors, our sisters that have been sharing our star knowledge on this planet for a very long time. When we talk about star nations, star maps, our cellular imprints to the stars, and this is one of my favorite things about astrologers is when you ask an astrologer how long they've been studying astrology, they'll ask you, how many lifetimes do you want to know about? This is something, it just is innately within us. There is never going to be a moment that I feel that we get to the all of this wisdom, because it is really truly a way to understand the map of our beautiful cosmic universe that we live in. So within this is the next level to which our refraction starts to move through levels of consciousness. That as the light emanates from the solar rishi realm, so we're talking about levels of conscious beings that are like solar bodies. They are solar bodies, they are suns emanating from the Andromedan galaxy, from the galactic center. We have multiple gateways and portals within our universe that gives us access back home. That within these access points back home, that each of us comes in with a particular desire, part of a larger family, if you will. And a lot of the mission that comes in, that people feel that mission, has been this idea of being an ability to assist, an ability to help, an ability to bring new light codes in. Because this is simultaneously what is happening continuously from our solar bodies. And for those of you that have been kind of consciously watching the solar activity of our own very solar logos in the solar system, she's been pretty active, hasn't she? It's because the alignments are allowing the reflection to the higher suns. So we connect our solar logos, and when it aligns to the higher solar logos, and there are multiple solar bodies throughout the universe, and as they keep aligning up, each one becomes much like a micro ray of light that amplifies. And so as we are in a cosmic spiral spin through the universe right now, this is no accident again why we are accelerating our consciousness right now, because those that have been spending the time doing the clearing work, really getting in there, facing their fears, clearing things out, have been making the space within their own cellular tissues for the DNA light codes to activate so that that solar body of radiance can flow through you without driving you crazy. making you mad, or feeling psychotic. So when we see a lot of the chaos that's going on the planet right now, really what it is on a biological level is that the human form for many humans on the planet are at dense levels that can't handle the radiance that's coming through, and so therefore as it triggers the neurons within the brain, it creates sensations of psychosis. So this is just our ability to have so much compassion for what is going on right now, as far as how much energy is moving through the planet, and also to be kind and gentle with ourselves. I just like to share this because this is actually from the Hathor's temple, the Temple of Dendera in Egypt. And just when this was discovered, it really amplified again the significance to our star placements, the astronomy, knowing who you are, and more importantly, where are you going? We're here on Earth, and we have these connections with our solar families, if you will. And I like to use the word solar families because we do come from the solar families as we start to radiate down. We're talking a lot about the archangels and the Elohim. But that within all of our different star placements, each place that our soul has traveled, it gets neutrino imprints from every place that we have been, and it holds it and locks it within our own libraries. Therefore, when we learn to access those libraries within this lifetime, guess what? You start to feel yourself in other avatars or bodies. And this comes very much many times with actual contact that you may have with beings, but many times in meditation, this is going to just be a sense and a feeling of a flash of a memory, a flash of a feeling, a flash of something coming through you. And so when we learn to start to create our blueprint of what I like to call our owner's manual, see our imprint within the stars, what this allows our consciousness to do is have an awakening within ourselves to open up these locked up doorways within us that might be connected to planetary systems like Aldebaran, Capella, Vega, the Sirius star system. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about some of our map today as we move through this. Because the way that we find this is exactly through our birth chart. That you are consciousness as light. And as the light reflecting and refracting through your hologram, that you picked the exact moment that matched your patterns. Now I'm going to tell you, not all of our patterns were beautiful after a while. There's been a lot of history in our cosmos. We've heard, many of you have heard of the Lyran Wars, the Iranian Wars, yeah, the Electric Wars, the Angelic Wars. And now here we are on Earth, and we see all of this chaos that goes on this planet, and there's no accident to why the wars are happening, where they're happening on this planet. They're fighting over stargates. They're fighting over very specific territories of land. They are not fighting over oil. So as we start to realize that this stellar or this intergalactic drama has been going on for a very long time, that we're going to get the opportunity to realize that even if you may really resonate with one star system, feeling Lyran, Andromedan, Sirian, Pleiadian, I'm going to tell you that you are a blend of many, and they all live and breathe right inside of you right now. They most significantly will show up through your outer planets, but when we look at our alignments within our chart, we are primarily going to be looking at our planetary alignments from the very exact moment that we are born. That our sun is going to reflect the planetary system that we are most predominantly expressing within this lifetime, as far as energies that we are imbuing within us to give us characteristics, to empower us. Now I'm going to say the sun and the moon on a karmic level also have implications for us of potential energy that we have picked up through our mother and father's DNA. So we are star beings that get born into families that many times are playing out our cosmic dramas. And so as we start to learn this, there comes almost a relief sometimes of going like, well, I guess that's why I dealt with everything I dealt with. We have interesting childhoods many times, and many times our childhood is a direct imprint of our cosmic blueprint. Now, as we look at our outer planets, Pluto, Neptune, and Uranus are going to hold some of our most significant, but when I look at a star chart, as far as the reading of it, I really want to look at Pluto. Pluto is our planetary system that holds some of the deepest records of our soul. That within Pluto, it is like the gateway within our soul's records of the longest journey that we've been taking. What wound have we been looking to balance? And we talk about things as far as trauma and imbalances. And truly what we are doing is we are learning how to merge polarities. We are learning how to take the darkness and the light, the male and the female, the right and the left, that has been kind of pitted against each other for millennia of time, and we are learning to bring them as one back together again in order to collapse them back into the 0 point field. That in truth, as long as we are creating an energy that light is good and darkness is bad, we will continually perpetuate many of the dramas that are happening right before our very eyes right now. So as we look at Pluto, these are significantly going to show some of your soul's deepest desires to be a part of physicality and creations as a God source being in order to elevate creation back into polarity, or from a polarized state back into balance and harmony. Neptune within your chart is going to show you the place where you feel the most separated from God or source. This is incredibly significant because the initial place of separation within each of us is that moment where we stepped away from the field, our source field. We stepped out of our oversoul family or our soul family, and then guess what? We became separate. And now all of a sudden we created the story that we are alone, that we are different, that we don't belong, that God doesn't love us, or that all of these different things that we feel. Now I'm talking to a group of people that have been completely connected with the heart space, but I'm asking you to look at humanity as a whole. That one of the deepest places that separation is within humanity as a whole is a separation within oneself as part of God. That as we connect with Uranus, that this is going to be the most significant place where we've ever seen our traumas within our life, our trauma signatures within our soul experiences, and that Uranus is also going to give us the inspiration to see that the places where our traumas come are actually our biggest gifts. The truth is that Uranus, and I want to actually share something from beautiful Cosmic Ray, our beautiful Raymond Killer, that Uranus is the place of our Akashic records. And as you allow yourself to tap into this, that Uranus is actually the place of our memories. When you look into astrology, Uranus is your long-term memories. But it's also associated with an energy of chaos and trauma. That when Uranus comes around in your life, it shakes you up a little bit and moves you. And that in truth, the way I really love to embrace this energy is that our soul loves us so much that it won't let us fall asleep. And it will provide for us whatever we need in order to shake us awake so that we remember the divinity of who we are and move forward towards it. And so Uranus is one of the most beautiful gifts because not only is it going to start to tie you in to your longer soul term or soul imprints, blueprints, and memories, but most predominantly what you've been playing out in this very solar system, our solar logos. So this is where our Akashic records really come for this solar system. Now, within this, the next that I really like to pay attention to is going to be the nodes. Our north node and our south node within our chart is very significant because this is giving us the energy to understand the trajectory of where our soul has been moving through placements. All of these are layers upon layers upon layers of who we are. And as we get to look at some of the planetary cycles, we're going to realize we're wheels inside wheels inside wheels inside wheels. And when you hear about a lot of the descriptions of the angels, what do they call them? The spinning wheels of light. We are divine, angelic human beings within this life. Those of you that are even called to listen to any of this information is an absolute signal within your heart to know that you hold all of the divine packets of God's source within you. And therefore, as we learn our blueprints, those packets open up, and the North Node is where your soul is driving you in this lifetime. And it's going to be the most uncomfortable energy for you because the South Node is going to be where you've been hanging out for a while. It's going to show the potential places where things got a little bit out of balance, and your North Node is saying, we need to correct this. And so therefore, when you want to balance something, you want to bring something to its middle point. And the North Node and the South Node are 180 degrees from each other. Therefore, they balance each other out. Within this, we also get to look at our Chiron, our Lilith, our Fortune, and our Vertex. These are going to be signifiers of the different energies that we've come here to be a voice for with our Lilith. Lilith is the righteous, divine, feminine voice that has been suppressed, usually through force, and when it can't take it anymore, it will scream out to speak the words that have been held back. Now guess what? When we learn to have the courage to speak up without having to wait for it to get all pent up within us, we don't have to have an explosion, and we don't have to go with a machete and start hashing our way through life anymore. In fact, the beauty of learning our blueprint is that we start to reclaim our sovereignty of all the archetypes that the planetary bodies have been holding for us, and we go, thank you. But I am a solar divine cosmic being, and therefore I am awakening to my maturity enough to take on the energy of upholding my own Pluto energy, of holding my own Mercury energy, my own Venusian energy. And as you bring it in, what happens is you start to step off the wheel. And therefore, you do not get influenced by the transits. You do not get influenced by the different planetary energies as they are moving through, because you become your own sovereign solar logos. So within our star chart alignments, these are the signifiers that we look at for the different energies. That when we look at different cosmic placements within our chart, different places like Venus is going to show you the places where you have your beliefs, your social beliefs, the deep levels within you of what you've been passionately wanting to express within this lifetime. That Venus is such a guiding star and light for us, and we'll touch a little bit more into this as we go. Mars is going to show your energy, Mercury, your voice that you like to speak. And as we look at Saturn, Saturn is probably one of the next most significant planets that I would invite you to look at within your chart. And as you look at Saturn, Saturn allows us to understand where we have created boundaries of consciousness. Now, as infinite beings, we don't have limitation. Yet we come into this reality, and the very first thing we get is the programs of our family that we were born into, the country we were born into, the religions, all of these different things, and then our mind starts to think, oh, well, this is what you can do, and this is what you can't do. But as an infinite being, nothing is outside of the levels of manifestation. So our job is to find where are these boundaries in our consciousness that say, oh, I can't do that. Or, oh, I can't, you know. Where do we feel these walls within our own mind that shut us down? And Saturn gives us the ability, because here's the thing I love about Saturn. Saturn is incredible as a tool, but also energetically, it's something that we want to be able to use it as a tool, not allow it to be the tool we use to imprison our mind. Now, when you want a hot cup of coffee, you want a container, don't you? Our consciousness is very fluid. It is like the ocean. And in order to have an experience with a part of the ocean, many times what you might want is a container, like a bucket, to hold a part of the ocean. And that it can hold a way that you move through your consciousness with different things. And so therefore, Saturn is that container that helps our consciousness hold different levels of information for us within this reality. But guess what? We can morph it and change it any way we want. And so therefore, Saturn is one of the most significant cycles that we go through in our life. Around the age of 28 to 29, we go through our first Saturn return. That means that our Saturn has gone through all 12 houses. The gift of Saturn, because it gives us this opportunity twice for most people in life, because the next opportunity comes around 58 years old. And this is a gentle way that our soul or oversoul and the cosmic body has given us cycles that says, okay, we're going to go through these boundaries of consciousness through all 12 of your houses. You get a whole round to go through that first bit. To 28 years old, we've gone through every house, and we get to feel ourselves through every energy. And now start to go, what feels right and what doesn't? What feels like my truth and what feels as though I don't agree with that any longer? I'm ready to cancel that, delete it, and let it go. And so as we embrace this, usually we don't catch it the first round. There are not a lot of tools right now for our young generations to start to work with their blueprint through the younger years. But those of us that are within different organizations and systems and abilities to work with knowing this information in ourselves, we can start to assist with creating. What if a child being born had the opportunity to know, okay, your Saturn is starting out in the house of Cancer, in the 3rd house. Now we're going to work with the emotional communication and how you share this information, and this is our path that we're going to take in this life. And as you move through this journey, this is your starting point, and as we come all the way around it, how do you get to be you within this? How do you get to remember your memories and not be told no? And I don't have the statistic, but I think somebody told me one time, like, how many times a child hears the word no in their life? Yes. So now, as we start to get into some of this, because I actually really want to go into some of our cosmic family, that the next energy that we are going to be able to really play with and experience is our alignment to the galactic center, the great attractor, and our trans-Neptunian planets. Now, one of the things that's amazing for our consciousness of humanity is that our consciousness grows through the expansion and awareness of learning new planetary bodies. There is significant markers in society on planet Earth when Uranus was detected and discovered, when Neptune was discovered, when Pluto was discovered. These weren't always known because they weren't always visible, right? And so when they were discovered, huge major conscious shifts happened within humanity as a whole. And we have now been opening up to our new trans-Neptunian planetary bodies, which are not even on the astrological charts really right now. You have to go a little bit deeper to get to them. And we are talking about Eris, Haumea, and Makemake. These are the next 3 significant energies that are going to be shifting and changing humanity on a completely new level, allowing our consciousness to expand beyond where we have been. And guess what? The only thing we really have to work with right now is the fact that astronomers are like, oh, I don't want to do all this extra paperwork right now and have to do all this work with these new planets. But it's going to happen. We're going to start to realize the cosmos is a lot bigger than we have realized. And so these are some of our newer, if you ever look up trans-Neptunian planets, but primarily Eris, which is going to bring another level to a feminine energy of Pluto. A feminine energy of going deep, deep, deep into our soul records. Haumea, which is a divine planetary feminine energy that we are bringing in, and Makemake. Now as we embrace these energies within here, that we get to see not only our consciousness expanding, but where the galactic center. Now, the galactic center is at about 26 degrees on Sagittarius. So wherever Sagittarius is, it could be for you in the first house, the 8th house, the 12th house, wherever Sagittarius is for you, you would just look for wherever the 26th degree is, and that would be your alignment to the galactic center. And for the great attractor, it's at about 14 degrees Sagittarius. So this would be the higher center than the galactic center. Now, as you find these markers on your chart, I would ask you to look at what house it is in. And obviously it's going to be in Sagittarius, which is about expansion, learning, growing, teaching, guiding, sharing, being truly the spiritual masters. Now, the galactic center in the house on your chart is going to signify for you what soul energy you came here to share. What soul energy you came to express within this. So if you came in the first house, it's about sharing new ideas, new expressions, new levels of being. If you came here with Sagittarius or with the galactic center in the third house, you're going to be sharing new levels of communication, expanding people through how you speak. So I just invite you to know that these are extra places within your chart that are going to signify. And as we look at this, that this is actually a graphic right now of just our outer planets. So we see Saturn is quite sporadic over here in the middle, which kind of goes pretty well with our levels of consciousness, pretty sporadic. And we have Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And now you can see that we have our new planetary bodies that are going to be expanding our consciousness even further. So, as we look at where our consciousness even started within this creation, I just want to share, these are a couple of maps on here. We have one from Marion de Vera, and then we have Lissa Royale's map over here of the travel of humanity. That within the cradle of Lyra, it is stated that that is where the seed of humanity is started. And that from Lyra, this is truly the birthing cradle of this multidimensional universe here. And that as our soul has traveled, we're going to see that Lyra colonies traveled to Vega within the Lyra constellation, traveled to the Pleiades, traveled to the Sirius system, Orion, Earth, and even we have future timelines over here with the Sassani, or the future Zeta Gray races. Well, as we start to look at here, we can start to see, and I just want to share that within the cradle of Lyra, the Lyra is the seeding place, but truly some of the birthing places have come through not only Draco, some of the openings within the Draco constellation, the Lyra Nebula area in there, and also the galactic center, that there are multiple entrance points within here. And I'm going to just present an idea to each and every one of you. I would even ask, how many of you resonate with dragons? So dragons are an incredible energetic consciousness. And from the higher dimensional realms of the luminaries, that they would be seen much like, I like to use the example of the Aurora Borealis, when you see the lights swirling around, that these would be like the dragon bodies. They are solar rishi dragon beings. They are holding within them all of the light codes within them of all creation, and therefore it is from these emanations that different race lines, like when we think of Lyra, we think of the feline races, right? And now from Lyra, though, we have every single genetic race line coming from there. We have not only the avians, the lizards, the reptilians, the snakes, we have the feline races, we have the mantis beings, we have the insectoids, the dinoids, we have every single genetic race line that you can think of actually birthing from the from the Lyra constellation. And as we get to experience this, we realize that we are multidimensional. And I really want to say this because as we start to meet our star brothers and sisters, they do not always look like us. And I love the conversation that we had earlier with the presenter before, sharing this, that truly one of the most stable genetic cellular codes is the reptilian code. That most of the beings in the Sirius star system are hybrids of the Lyran Sirian races that have merged through. So we're also, and I apologize, I did not mean to exclude our beautiful aquatic races. So the cetaceans, the amphibians, and all of our different aquatic beings. So within this, I want to just start to expand some of our awareness that all of our different race lines.
You have 2 minutes left.
Okay, all right. Perfect. So all of our different race lines are stemming from there, so I guess I gotta speed this up a little bit. That as these race lines have migrated through the cosmos, that we have inhabited multiple of our star system races, that these star system races from the higher levels are connected with the Elohim, the Elohai, Elohim race lines. And that as we connect with different of these star places within our chart, I have no idea how I'm going to get the rest of this in 2 minutes. So. That when you have these placements within your chart, this signifies very significantly for you your connection to the angelic race lines. You as an embodiment here, and I'm just going to very quickly just show you the rest of the slides so that you have it. I really wanted to talk a little bit about the Hercules constellation, incredible race line of beings from Sirius B, really allowing us to merge different sentient connections with each other, that we have different experiences throughout our constellation systems where we have lived, but it hasn't been harmonious. The wars that have happened has created a lot of refugees, a lot of people that have had to find new places to live. And therefore, within these migrations, that we have had to learn how to get along with each other. And this is something that I think is very significant with this race line, especially if you have it in your chart, is that we are going to have to learn how to get along with the others that are on this planet, who are also within our connection right now. We have reptilian beings that are living on Earth right now. We have Alpha Centaurians that are living on this planet right now. We have Sirians that are living on this planet right now. We have tremendous conscious beings living in the inner Earth. And just to know, the Centaurus constellation is most connected with the inner Earth, what you might say here, even Mount Shasta, with Telos, Agartha, and they have been working significantly to assist all of the different race lines and to really help move beyond what the digressive races have been doing. So we know we have negative reptilian and Orion Empire beings that have been trying to infiltrate planet Earth-like property. But guess what? When we raise our consciousness, when we remember our starseed lineages, when we remember that we are part of the stars, I just want to invite anybody to check into Hydra. And let me put my final screen up because I'm going to have to say goodbye to you guys. So just in closing, you guys, that when you can gather all of your imprints within you, see the placements that you have, meditate on them, let yourself open up to it, that this is how we're going to gather our memories back. That if you choose or you ever feel guided, find someone such as myself that has the ability to help you discern your chart for you. And it's just the first step. Then you get to meditate on it. You get to remember your memories within you. And that as you remember these memories within yourself, you get to start to feel your bigger picture. And when you realize who you've been through multiple lifetimes, it starts to make the problems at home seem a lot smaller. Easier to say no to the things that don't serve source, easier to say yes where fear might be wanting to take over. And as you allow yourself to embrace the power of the star that you are, that is how we all become, once again, cosmic citizen. So I thank you guys so much for letting me share this with you.
Becca Bee, wow. There's a lot to know on this earth journey of awakening and integrate. Lots of skills, new skills to enter into a new life. All of these things are part of our curriculum now as we transition out of 3D into 5D. There's quite a schooling process